Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's matchup of the 2014 varsity softball season. Today's matchup is between New East Long Spartans and the Pacers of Chicopee. A Valley Wheel League game today as Abdullah steps into the mound for her first pitch. That misses high for ball one. Spartans are 7-3 overall this year, 3-1 in the Valley Wheel League. They'll take on Chicopee, who is 5-5 overall and 1-3 in the Valley Wheel, as her second offering misses high for ball two. Starting lineup for the Pacers today is Cassie Fournier. She'll lead off, followed by Callie Rotelli, Raven Fournier, as that one's just a bit high for ball three. Shannon Denault will bat in the fourth spot and play third base. Joanne Nazario, she'll be followed by Catherine Satterstorm, Morgan Harris, Jordan Martell, as Fournier will make her way down to first with a walk to lead off the game for the Pacers. Martell will be followed up by Lauren Demers and Mary-Kate Manure. Telly looks at her first pitch outside, so 5 straight balls to start the game for Abdulis. Miss Lowe as POG looks to run back at first. Last time Spartans played Chicopee, they were in Chicopee and they beat them 15-1. That was the second game of an offensive explosion from the Spartans, scoring 32 runs in just 2 games. Two-0 count now to Kylie Rotelli. She looks at ball 3 outside. Defensive for the Spartans in the outfield from left to right is Lexi Cohan, Julia Decker, and Sabrina Gagne, as Abdulis gets her first strike of the day. In the infield, it'd be Balboni at third, White at short, Morcino at second, and Mackenzie Lambert at first. That one misses low for ball 4, so 2 walks to start the game for the Spartans. And the battery for today is Ali Abdulis, Alyssa Pioji. So that'll bring up Raven Fournier, the catcher today for the Pacers. She looks at a ball, so Abdulis wild to start this game. See if she can start to settle down here. That misses low for a strike, for a ball. 2-0 count. Now to Rotelli. Fournier. That one misses outside for ball 3. Good. So 3-0 count now to Raven Fournier. That one misses for a ball. So 3 walks. This is not the start the Spartans are looking for, as Coach Santinello will come out and have a talk with his pitcher. Alright, so after Coach Sant has a talk with Abdulis, we're ready to get back underway here in the top half of the first. Bases loaded for the Pacers after 3 straight walks to start the game, as Shannon Denault looks at ball 1 low and inside. That one gets away from Pioji and will score a run on the wild pitch. So all runners advance 1. Be runners on second and third. No outs here in the top of the first. Pacers lead the Spartans 1-0 after that wild pitch. That's lined foul down the third baseline. That'll bring the count to 2-1 to Shannon Denault, the first baseman for the Pacers today. That one will miss low and get away from POG, and another run will come in for the Pacers. So it'll be runner on third. Still no outs here in the top half of the first. And a 3-1 count to Denault, as Abdulis is having location problems early in this game. Only thrown 2 strikes. So that one misses for ball 4. So the first 4 batters reach on free passes, and it'll be runners on the corners. Still no outs here in the top of the first. Nazario squares around a bunt but pulls back and takes a strike. Joey Nazario, third baseman for the Pacers, looks to keep this inning going. Steal attempt is safe. The Denault elected not to slide and made that play a lot closer than it had to be. Looked like the ball beat her by a mile. That one's lifted foul by Nazario. Runners on second and third. That'll leave the count at 2-2 to Joanne Nazario. Already 2 runs across here for the Pacers. They lead 2-0 here in the top of the first. That one's grounded foul down the third baseline. Nazario will stay alive at 2-2. Spartans still looking to get their first out of this one. His location problems have plagued Abdullah so far here in the first. That one's bounced in and will get by Pioji. And Fournier will come in for the third run of the day for the Pacers. And Denault will move on to third. His count is full to Nazario. That swung on and fouled straight back off of Pioji. And she'll stay alive at 3-2. That's lifted out of play down the first baseline. And she'll battle here in this at-bat. It's got to be the 7th pitch of the at-bat so far. That one will miss inside. That'll full up the count at 3-2. That's off by the ball. That swung on line foul down the third baseline. So a good battle here in the top of the first between Nazario and Abdulis. Pacers already have 3 runs here in the top of the first. Payoff pitch misses low for a ball. She'll go down to first on the walk. And Santinello will come out again. And because that's the second meeting of this inning, he'll have to make a switch. And it looks like Julie Decker will come in to pitch for the Spartans. Gagne will move to center and Abdulis will go out to right. So we'll give Decker a chance to warm up and we'll come right back. Alright, we're ready to get back underway here in the top of the first. As Decker's first offering to Catherine Setterstorm hits for a strike. That's driven down the left field line and it'll bounce right in front of Lexi Cohen and get by. Roll to the wall. Setterstorm will go into second, standing for a double. So Spartans not getting off to the start they wanted as Pacers quickly take a 5-0 lead here in the top of the first. That'll bring up Morgan Harris, who looks at strike 1. The first 5 batters for Pacers reached on walks, as that one's fouled softly down the third baseline. Then Santinello made the change from Abdullah to Decker. That one misses high for a ball. That misses high and outside for ball 2, and it'll even the count at 2-2 to Morgan Harris, who is playing second today for the Pacers. That's grounded to short, fielded by White. She'll look the runner back. Throw off the line at first. The throw will get by Lambert. And Harris will move on to second on the error. Still runners on second and third. Still no outs here in the first, and that'll bring up Jordan Martell, the right fielder for the Pacers today. She looks at strike one. That's grounded, fielded by White. She'll throw on home. And the throw is not in time. The runner will get under the tag. So Harris will stay at second, and Martell will reach on the fielder's choice. And the Spartans still looking to get their first out of this inning. That one's bunted foul by Lauren Demers. Spartans find themselves down 6-0 early here in this game. Still at the top of the first. Squared the bunt. Laid down perfectly down the third baseline. And the throw by Decker is in time to get the first out of the inning. So runners will advance up 1 on the sacrifice. And it'll be runners on second and third, with 1 out. And it'll bring the top of the order for the Pacers in Cassidy Fournier. She walked in her first at bat earlier this inning. She squares the bunt, and that's fouled off, leaving the count at 1-1. Elm is high for a ball, 2-1 now to Fournier. That one's grounded foul down the third base line. That'll leave the count at 2-2. So 2-2 count, 1 out here in the top of the first. 6 runs already across for the Pacers. That one misses outside for a ball. That'll bring the count to 2-2. That one's lifted foul, so stay alive. Allen is high and low to count. Now it's the full count. 3-2 to Fournier. That one's lined. Infield was in. That one lined softly, but it'll get by everyone because the infield was in. So Fournier reaches on the base hit. Another run will come across for the Pacers, and they'll have a runner on third and Jordan Martell. And that'll bring up Kylie Ritelli. She looks at a ball outside, and Fournier will take second base. So runners on second, third, 1 out here in the top of the first, as that one's grounded foul. That hits the corner for a strike. Bring the count to 1-2. That'll miss high and outside for a ball. Even the count at 2-2. Since Jules has come in, she's given up a double. Fielder reached on an error as she picks up her first strikeout for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Raven Fournier. As I was saying earlier, since Jules has come in, she's given up the double. A runner reached on an error, as they'll give Fournier a free pass to load up the bases. So after this walk, it'll be the bases loaded with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Spartans down 7-0 early in this one. We'll have a lot of work to do after they get this third out. So after that free pass, it'll bring up Shannon Denault, who walked in her first at bat earlier this inning as she looks at ball 1 outside. That strike leaving him to count at 1-1. That'll miss outside for a ball. So 2-1 count now to Shannon Denault, the first baseman for the Pacers. She grounds that one by third base. They'll send Cassie Fournier around, and she'll get into home safely. So that base hit will score Fournier and Martel. As that'll put the Pacers up 9-0 here in the first. And Joanne Nazario will come up and look at ball 1. That hits for a strike and leaving the count at 1-1. That'll miss outside for a ball. 2-1 now to Joanne Nazario. Pacers lead the Spartans 9-0 here in the top of the first. 2 outs. That'll miss high for a ball. So 3-1 now to Nazario. So that one's hit hard and will get over the head of Lexi Cohan. One hop the wall. 1 run will score. Nazario will go standing up into second base with the double. So Denault will move to third on the double. And Fournier will score. That'll increase her lead 1-10 as Catherine Setterstorm looks at strike 1. So huge inning here for the Pacers. That pitch evens count at 1-1, putting 10 runs on the board before the Spartans even get a chance to bat here in this game. Still the top of the first, 2 outs. It's a nice block there by POG to keep the runners at second and third. That's flown down the first baseline foul. Leaving the count at 2-2. That one's lined foul down the first base line. Setterstorm will stay alive at 2-2. So 2-2 count here to Setterstorm, 2 outs. Here in the top of the first, runners at second and third. That one swung on the changeup, and Julia Decker gets her second strikeout of the game. Spartans with a ton of work to do. They'll come up to bat in the bottom half of the first. They're down 10-0 to Chicopee Pacers.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCATSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
All right, ready to get underway here in the bottom half of the first inning. Spartans with a ton of work to do as they trail the Pacers 10-0. It'll be Julia Decker to lead things off here for the Spartans. Decker looks at strike one. Starting lineup for the Spartans today will be Decker, followed by Danny White, Kenzie Lambert, Alyssa Pioji to bat fourth, Ali Abdulis, Jill Morcino. As Decker looks at ball one. Lexi Cohan will bat seventh. Katie Bonavita will bat eighth. Sabrina Gagne will bat ninth. That swung on in line right to the shortstop, Telly, and she'll make the catch for the first out of the first. So a solid contact by Decker, unfortunately hit right at the shortstop, Telly. That'll bring up Danny White. White looks at strike one on the outside corner. Pitch is taken high for ball, leaving kind of 1-1. Spartans trail the Pacers 10-0 here in the first. That one misses outside for a ball. Last time Spartans played the Pacers, they won. Spartans won 15-1. So the tables have turned a little bit as White grounds one to the shortstop, Telly, and she'll throw on to Denault at first for the second out here in the first. I'll bring up Mackenzie Lambert as the outfield takes a couple steps back in anticipation of Lambert's power that she's shown throughout the season. She looks at ball one outside. I'll miss low for ball 2-0 now to Lambert. Playing first today for the Spartans. That's fouled out of play behind the Pacers bench. Bring the count to 2-1. That swung on a miss for strike two. And leaving the count at 2-2. Mary Kate Muner on the mound for the Spartans as Lambert grounds the ball to second. Harris will field the ball cleanly and throw on to Denault at first for the third out. So the Spartans go down 1-2-3 here in the first. After one, it's Pacers 10, Spartans nothing. We'll be back for the second after this quick break.
Today's game is brought to you in part by The Pizza Shop, home of the legendary dough, located on Shaker Road in East Longmeadow. And also by Let's Yo, a yogurt experience. You can visit Let's Yo on North Main Street in the Stop and Shop Plaza in East Longmeadow.
All right, Spartans ready to get underway here in the second. After going down 1-2-3 in the home half of the first, not able to chip away at the Pacers' 10-0 lead. Pacers scored 10 runs in the top of the first inning. As that one's hit in the air, Danny White will get under it on the edge of the outfield grass and make the catch for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Jordan Martell. That's fouled out of play onto the JV field. Spartans get the first out much quicker here in this inning than they did in the first. Took them 9 batters before they got an out in the first inning. 1 batter, 1 pitch here in the second. That swung on and missed for strike 2. That swung on and lined, and will get in for a base hit. On the bobble, thought about going to 2, but changed her mind, decided to stay at first. So she'll reach on the base hit. That'll bring up Lauren Demers, who grounded out to Decker on the sacrifice bunt back in the first inning. Steal attempt. White can't handle the throw, and Martell will gain the second safely with the stolen base. Demers squares the bunt but pulls back and looks at a ball. Gets the bunt down again. Another great bunt. And she'll be out at first. It's another great bunt by Demers. She does her job in moving the base runner and Jordan Martell over to the third base. Now 2 outs here in the second. That'll bring up top of the order. That one's grounded to White. She'll field, throw on to first for the out. So the Spartans get a much cleaner second inning. They'll look to start chipping away at the 10-0 deficit they face in the home half of the second.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCATSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
Second inning action ready to resume here in the bottom half of the second. Spartans will have their 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up in POG. Abdulas and Morosino as POG fouls off her first offering. Foul. So a 1 count to POG. That's fouled straight up. And an easy play for the third baseman, Nazario, for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Ali Abdulas, who started this game in the circle for the Spartans, but after walking the first 5 batters, Coach Santinelli made the change to Julia Decker. Abdulas now playing right field for the Spartans as she looks at ball 1 inside. And that swung on and missed for a strike, leaving the count at 1-1. Swung on again. 1-2 count now to Abdulas. She'll look at that one outside, leaving the count at 2-2. Mary Kate Munier went through the first 3 Spartan batters easily, getting the 1-2-3 inning. Back in the first, Abdulas has a 3-2 count. That swung on and missed for a strikeout. So Mary Kate Munier gets her first K of the game for the second out in the second. Now I'll bring up Jill Morosino. That one hits for a strike. Same spot for strike 2. So Morosino down 0-2 on 2 pitches. That swung on and fouled down the first base line, and she'll stay alive at 0-2. That one's flown into the outfield as Fournier makes a diving attempt but can't reel it in. And Jill Morosino will go sliding into second with a double. So good effort by Cassidy Fournier, but just a step too late, and that ball will drop in for a double for Morosino. So the Spartans have some life here in the second with 2 outs. Runner on second. That'll bring up Lexi Cohan. She swings and misses at strike 1. Offering misses outside for a ball. That'll even count at 1-1. Pitch misses low for ball 2. 2-1 now to Lexi Cohan, left fielder for the Spartans. She'll bat with a runner on second, Jill Morosino. She looks at strike 2. 2 out here in the second inning. Spartans trail the Pacers 10-0 after a 10-run first inning for the Chicopee Pacers. So that one's hit hard. That's got a chance, and we'll get over the wall for a home run. So Lexi Cohan gets the Spartans on the board with a 2-run home run. No win today as that one got out easily. That'll bring up Katie Bonavita. She swings and misses at strike 1. Designated player today, hitting for Kara Balboni. That swung on and missed for strike 2, so 0-2 count. Now to Bonavita. 2 outs here in the second inning. And that swung on and missed for strike 3. So Unier gets their second strikeout of the game, second of the inning. Spartans still trail by 8 after the home run by Lexi Cohan. We'll be back for the third after this quick break.
Today's game is brought to you in part by The Pizza Shop, home of the legendary dough, located on Shaker Road in East Longmeadow. And also by Let's Yo, a yogurt experience. You can visit Let's Yo on North Main Street in the Stop and Shop Plaza in East Longmeadow.
Ready to get underway with the third here at Birchland Park Middle School. Spartans trail Chicopee Pacers 10-2 here in the third. So Pacers will have their 2-3-4 hitters coming up as Kylie Ritelli looks at ball 1. Spartans got on the board last inning after the 2-run home run by Lexi Cohan. As Ritelli looks at ball 2. I don't even think Cohan thought she hit a home run. She thought she either hit a foul ball or a double and it stayed in. Wasn't too sure around first base. As Ritelli goes ahead in the count 3-0. Out missed inside for ball 4. So Pacers get their leadoff runner on with the walk, and that'll bring up Raven Fournier. Who's walked twice so far in this game. As she looks at ball 1 high and outside. It's right down the middle for a strike, leaving the count at 1-1. Runner on first here into the top of the third. Is high and outside. Good grab by Piochi to keep a runner at first. 2-1 count now to Raven Fournier, who's walked twice so far in this matchup. That's hit high. That's got a chance to get out of there. Abdulis is at the wall. Goes crashing in the wall, and that ball will get out for a 2-run home run. So Pacers get the 2 runs back that they gave up in the second after that 2-run home run. And they'll come out to check on Abdulis, who went crashing into the wall. She says she's fine and sends everyone back. So after that 2-run home run by Raven Fournier, Spartans trail again by 10. They lead 12-2. As Shannon Denault comes up to the plate. She's 1 for 1 today with a walk in the first and a base hit later on in that inning. She skips out of the way for the ball. Miss low and inside for a ball. That'll hit the inside corner for a strike. So 2-1 count now to Denault as she grounds round to third base. Balboni Fields throws on to first to Lambert in plenty of time for the first out of the third. That'll bring up Joanne Azario. She's playing third base today for the Pacers. She'll look at strike one on the inside corner. That one's lined softly, fielded by Morosino, and she'll flip on to first for the second out. So after giving up the home run, Spartans quickly get 2 outs. And that'll bring up Catherine Setterstorm, designated player today for the Pacers. She lines one between first and second and will reach on a single. And that'll bring up Morgan Harris. Reached on an error and flew out to short in her 2 at-bats today. She'll look at ball 1 low. That's lined right to White, and she'll make the catch for the final out of the third. So after 2.5, Spartans trail the Pacers 12-2. We'll be back for the home half of the third after this.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCATSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
Spartans ready to get underway here in the home half of the third. As Sabrina Gagne looks at strike one on the outside corner. Spartans will have their 9-1-2 hitters coming up in Sabrina Gagne, Julia Decker, and Danny White as they look to chip away at Chicopee's 10-run lead as Gagne swings and misses at strike 2. So 0-2 count now to Sabrina Gagne. That's lifted into short outfield and will be fielded by the shortstop, Telly, for the first out of the bottom of the third. I'll bring up Julia Decker. She'll look to help herself out here in the third as she looks at strike one. That swung on and lifted straight up. Catcher Fournier is under it, and she'll make the catch for the second out. Chicopee quickly gets 2 outs here in the third. That'll bring up Danny White. White grounded out to the shortstop. Back in the first. That's lifted. Shortstop settles under it, and she'll make the catch for the third out. So Ratelli makes 2 out of the 3 outs this inning. Spartans go down 1-2-3. We'll be back for the fourth.
Today's game is brought to you in part by The Pizza Shop, home of the legendary dough, located on Shaker Road in East Longmeadow. And also by Let's Yo, a yogurt experience. You can visit Let's Yo on North Main Street in the Stop and Shop Plaza in East Longmeadow.
All right, fourth inning action ready to start here at Burleson Park Middle School. Pacers will have their 8-9-1 hitters coming up to the plate. As Jordan Martell will lead things off here in the fourth. She pops one straight back out of play for strike one. Spartans trail the Pacers 12-2 here in the fourth as she looks at strike two on the outside corner. Martell's reached on a fearless choice and reached on a base hit so far in this game. That swung on and missed for strike three. Decker gets her third strikeout of the game for the first out of the fourth. That'll bring up Lauren Demers, left fielder today for the Pacers. She squares around a bunt. That would be her third bunt today. She's laid down 2 great bunts so far in this game. Pull back, but looks at strike one. 1-1 now to Lauren Demers. That one's bunted again. A little farther than the last two, and Decker will field and throw on to Morosino, who was covering first. So 2 outs here in the top of the fourth, and that'll bring up Cassidy Fournier. That one will miss low and outside for a ball. 0 for 1 today. 0 for 1 for 2 today. She squares the bunt but fouled it off. Getting a base hit in her second at bat of the first. And then grounding out to Danny White back in the second. That one's squared around the bunt but fouled down the first baseline. Lambert almost had a chance to play that one on the fly. Goes down 1-2. The bunt stays on as that hit the bat, so it should be time. The first base umpire saw it. She got the bunt down, but it hit the bat while it was still at the plate, so that's an automatic out. So Spartans get the Pacers 1-2-3 in the fourth. They look to do some work in the bottom half of the fourth. We'll be right back for that.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCATSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
All right, Spartans ready to bat here in the home half of the fourth. It'll be Mackenzie Lambert leading things off as she lines one softly right to the first baseman, Denault. And on one pitch, the Spartans have 1 out here in the fourth. Spartans not being very patient at the plate today as they're being very aggressive. Not looking at a lot of pitches as Pioggi looks at strike one. Almost outside for a ball. They trail the Pacers by 10 runs. They trail 12-2. So you want them swinging away, but as that one's fouled off by Pioji, but you want them to work the pitcher too. You don't want them swinging at first pitch all the time. So 1-2 count now to Pioji as that's lifted into the outfield. It'll drop in front of Fournier, and she'll reach on the single. So runner on first and Alyssa Pioji, and that'll bring up Ali Abdulis. And the pitch runner, Mary Edwards, will come on to run for Pioji. Abdulis 0 for 1 today, striking out back in the second inning. See how she hits here after running into the fence. Trying to track down the home run ball as she's lifted that one into the outfield, and Bertelli will track that one down to make the catch for the second out. So another first pitch swing for the Spartans. So there's 2 outs here in the fourth, runner on first. And Jill Morosino is at the plate. She hit a double back in the second inning and scored on the home run by Cohan. She falls 0-1. That swung on and lifted straight back out of play. The 0-2 now to Morosino. That swung on in line, past the shortstop, get into the outfield. Mary Edwards will round second and try for third, and she'll get in there safely. So Jill Morosino reaches on the base hit, and will move Mary Edwards over to third. So the Spartans have some life here with 2 outs in the fourth. That'll bring up Lexi Cohan, who homered in her last at-bat. She squares the bunt. Morosino will try for second, and she'll be tagged out as the throw beat her by plenty of time. So the Spartans leave 1 at third as they trail the Pacers by 10, 12-2. We'll be back for the start of the fifth after this quick break.
Today's game is brought to you in part by The Pizza Shop, home of the legendary dough, located on Shaker Road in East Long Meadow. And also by Let's Yo, a yogurt experience. You can visit Let's Yo on North Main Street in the Stop and Shop Plaza in East Long Meadow.
Fifth inning ready to get underway here as the Pacers have their 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up in Kylie Rotelli, Raven Fournier, and Shannon Denault. Pacers lead the Spartans 12-2 here in the fifth. She'll look at strike 1 on the outside corner. That one's fouled back for strike 2. Decker has settled down the Pacer lineup after coming in back in the first. That one misses high for a ball. 1-2 now to Kylie Rotelli, the shortstop for the Pacers. That swung on and missed for strike 3. So Decker collects her fourth strikeout of the day for the first out of the fifth. And that'll bring up Raven Fournier, the catcher today for the Pacers. She homered in her last at-bat back in the third, which gave the Pacers a 10-run lead back. That's down the middle for a strike. 1-1 now to Raven Fournier. That hits the corner for strike 2. So Decker gets ahead here. 1-2 now to Raven Fournier. Doing the catching today for the Pacers. That one will miss outside, leaving the count at 2-2. 2-2 offering to Fournier. That swung on and driven to right field. Will reach on a bounce to Abdulis. And she'll go into first with the single. I'll bring up Shannon Denault for the Pacers. 1 for 2 today. Reaching on a walk, a base hit, and grounding out to third, back in the third. That'll miss low and inside for a ball and skip away from Pioji. Fournier goes into second. Thought about going to third. Chose wisely to head back to second. So she'll be at second on the pass ball. That one's high and outside for ball 3. Oh. That's ball 3. 3-1 count. And now to Shannon Denault. Runner on second here in the 5th. That one's lifted to the outfield. Morosino settles under it. She'll make the catch for the second out. 2 outs here in the 5th. Runner on second in Raven Fournier, and that'll bring up Joanne Nazario. She's hit a double today in her second at bat in the 1st. That one's lined. Apparently trapped by White, and she'll throw on to first to Lambert for the out. So after the base hit, Spartans get 2 outs quickly. They hold the Pacers. They still trail by 10 though. We'll be back for the home half of the 5th after this quick break.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCATSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
Spartans looking to chip away here in the 5th inning. Lexi Cohan will get another shot here as Jill Morosino was caught stealing back in the 4th. Cohan will look at ball 1 low. Lexi hit a home run back in the 2nd inning, giving the Spartans their only 2 runs of the game. So that one hits the inside corner for strike and leaving the count at 1-1. That misses low and inside for a ball. 2-1 count now to Lexi Cohan. She'll call time mid windup, but the umpire will grant it to her. She'll step out, collect herself, and then step back in. 2-1 count now to Lexi Cohan. It's Mary Kate Munier delivers, and that one's lined over the third baseman's head. She'll try for second, and will get in under the tag safely. So risky call to send her to second, but just gets under the tag and is safe at second with the double. That'll bring up Katie Bonavita. She'll look at ball 1. That's good aggressive base running by the Spartans, trailing by 10 runs. They really had nothing to lose. So good call by Cav to send her to second, as that one will drop in for a base hit. Coach Sant will send Cohan around to score the Spartans' 3rd run of the game. So Katie Bonavita collects a base hit and an RBI. And the Spartans start to chip away here with no outs in the 5th. Sabrina Gagne will come up to the plate. She flew out to the shortstop in her last at bat. Back in the 3rd as she looks at strike 1. That's lined. Looked it was like a line from here, but softly plopped up to the third baseman, who will make the easy catch for the out. A little optical illusion from the outfield. Thought that was a line drive heading to left field. That'll bring up the top of the order for Spartans. Julia Decker will look at strike one. She's 0 for 2 today after lining out to shortstop and fouling out to the catcher. She'll reach and swing for that one. Come up empty and go down 0-2. Good job laying off that pitch. This count will be 1-2 now to Decker. Runner on first and Katie Bonavita. That swung on and grounded past the shortstop. And she'll reach with the base hit. That'll put runners on first and second here in the fifth. With one out. Spartans already pushed one run across after the base hit by Bonavita. They trail the Pacers 12-3 now. Stanley White comes up to the plate. She's 0 for 2 today. That one hits the inside corner for a strike. That swung on and lifted over the second baseman's head. Getting for a base hit. Coach Sant will send Bonavita around and she'll go in standing. Decker thought about going to third, but decided to stay at second. So another run across for the Spartans in Bonavita. Decker will be on second and Danny White on first after her base hit. That'll bring up Mackenzie Lambert, who looks at ball one high. Lambert 0 for 2 today, grounding out to the second baseman and lining out to the first baseman. She'll look at ball two outside. Spartans get some life here in the fifth. Scoring 2 runs so far. That one's lifted down the first baseline, but will get out of play. Two-one count now to Lambert, who will have a talk with Coach Tony Santinello, who's in his second year here at East Longmeadow. So she'll step back up to the plate, and we'll get underway here. 1-2 count. That swung on and lined into the outfield. Will drop in for a base hit. Sant sends Decker around. She'll go in safely and score. So after that base hit by Lambert, Decker scores. Spartans' 4th run of the day. White moves up to second, and Lambert will be at first. And that'll bring up Alyssa Pioggi for the Spartans as Coach Mel Sasser will come out to talk with his team. And he'll make the change here, so we'll give the Chicopee's pitcher a chance to warm up. Spartans have scored 3 so far here in the 5th. They trail Chicopee 12-5. We'll be back after this quick break. All right, ready to get back underway here in the 5th after the pitching change for Chicopee. They'll bring in number 22. I can't read the coach's handwriting on his lineup, so I'm not really too sure what her name is. She'll get ball one to Pioggi, who grounds it right to the third baseman, and she'll take it herself for the second out of this inning. So after going 4 1/3, Chicopee elects to take out Mary Kate Munier, who in 4 1/3 gave up 5 runs and is still responsible for the runners on second and third. As Ali Abdulis steps up to the plate with 2 outs here in the 5th. That's lifted straight up and out of play. Allie's 0 for 2 today, striking out back in the 2nd and flying out to the shortstop. As she lifts that one, third baseman sails under it and will make the catch for the final out of the 5th. So after 5, Spartans put 3 more on the board. They trail Chicopee 12-5.
Today's game is brought to you in part by The Pizza Shop, home of the legendary dough, located on Shaker Road in East Longmeadow. And also by Let's Yo, a yogurt experience. You can visit Let's Yo on North Main Street in the Stop and Shop Plaza in East Longmeadow.
All right, 6th inning action ready to get underway here at Birchland. Chicopee will have their 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up to the plate this inning in Catherine Setterstorm, Morgan Harris, and Jordan Martell. As Setterstorm looks at ball 1 outside. She'll swing and miss at that one for a strike, leaving the count at 1-1. Spartans put 3 runs on the board last inning. They brought the deficit to 12-5. As that one's grounded softly to short. Danny Whitefield cleanly. She'll throw on to Lambert at first for the out. So 6-3 put out for the first out of the 6th. That first pitch will miss outside. She's the one next to her. Huh? Farther. Face mask. That second pitch to Morgan Harris misses low and inside for ball 2. That'll miss high and outside. So 3 straight balls to Morgan Harris, with 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning. Pacers lead the Spartans 12-5. That's taken for strike 1. So Harris taking all away. She gets the courtesy strike. That's swung on and lined over Balboni's head. It'll get into left field and will be fielded by Cohan. She'll reach on the base hit. That'll bring up Jordan Martell, who is 1 for 3 today, reaching on a fielder's choice back in the 1st, then getting a base hit in the 2nd and striking out in the 4th. Decker's first offering is high and outside for ball. That's taken for a strike. 1-1 now to Jordan Martell, the right fielder for Chicopee. She squares the bunt and doesn't pull back, so it'll go down as a swing. 1-2 count now to Jordan Martell. That swung on and lifted foul. She'll stay alive at 1-2. That's line fielded by Baboni. She'll throw to second for the out. So Spartans will get the lead runner for the 2nd out. But Martell will reach on the fielder's choice. That'll bring up Lauren Demers. She's 0 for 3 today with 3 bunts. That's swung on and grounded. Fair, fielded by Balboni. Strong throw over to first for the final out of the sixth. So after 5.5, Spartans still trailed 12-5. They're running out of outs and they need to start chipping away in the home half of the sixth.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCATSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
All right, home half of the sixth ready to get underway here. Spartans will have their 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up in Jill Morcino, Lexi Cohan. As Morcino grounds the first pitch right back to the pitcher. She'll field and throw on to first for the quick first out. So Spartans still being impatient at the plate. Swinging at first pitch. Strikes. Not taking many pitches. Lexi Cohan will come up to the plate. She'll swing and miss at strike one. That hits at the knees for a strike two, so she'll go to an 0-2 count on the first two pitches here in the bottom of the sixth. That'll miss outside. Good 0-2 pitch from number 22, but Cohan not chasing, so count will be 1-2 as that's grounded. Fielded, can't field the hop, and Cohan will reach on the error. Took a bad hop on the third baseman Nazario and wasn't able to field it cleanly, so it'll be a runner on first in Lexi Cohan, and Katie Bonavita will come up to the plate as that hits the outside corner for strike one. That's lined up the middle. Thrown on to first by the shortstop for the second out of the sixth. Cohan will move on to second, and Gagne will come up to the plate. Sabrina Gagne is 0 for 2 today, flying out twice to the left side of the infield, once to the third baseman, once to the shortstop. She looks at strike one. That one's bowled in for a ball. 1-1 count now to Sabrina Gagne. That misses for a ball and brings the count to 2-1. Sabrina started the game in right field but moved to left as she flies that one to the right fielder. She'll settle under eventually to make the catch for the third out in the sixth. So the Spartans down to the last 3 outs. They need to hold the Pacers in the seventh. We'll be back for the start of the seventh after this quick break.
Today's game is brought to you in part by The Pizza Shop, home of the legendary dough, located on Shaker Road in East Longmeadow. And also by Let's Yo, a yogurt experience. You can visit Let's Yo on North Main Street in the Stop and Shop Plaza in East Longmeadow.
All right, ready to start the seventh inning here at Burton Park Middle School. Spartans trail the Chicopee Pacers 12-5. As Chicopee will have the top of their lineup coming up. First pitch swinging, fielded by Pioji, not in time to get the out at first. So Cassidy Fournier will reach on the infield single after what could be considered a swinging bunt. That'll bring up Kylie Ritelli. And that's taken for a strike. 0-1 count now to Kylie Ritelli, with a runner on first and Cassidy Fournier. That's taken high for a ball, and they'll even the count at 1-1. That swung on and lifted hard, and it'll get out of here for a home run. So a 2-run home run for Kylie Ratelli on the 1-1 pitch. And that'll put the Pacers up 14-5. After that 2-run shot by Kylie Ratelli. And we'll bring up Raven Fournier, who homered earlier today. He's also reached on a base hit and walked twice. That misses low for a ball. 2-0 count now to Raven Fournier. That misses outside for ball 3. That'll miss low for ball 4, so she'll reach on the free pass. And Chicopee will have a runner on here with no outs in the top half of the 7th. After already scoring 2 runs on the home run by Kylie Ratelli. That misses low for a ball. It's high and outside for ball 2. 2-0 count now to Shannon Denault. Playing first today for the Chicopee Pacers. That's swung on and grounded softly back to Decker. She'll pick it up and throw on to first for the out. As Raven Fournier moves on to second. So with 1 out here in the 7th, Joanne Nazario will come up to the plate. She's 1 for 3 today, hitting a double back in the first inning. And then after that, she's grounded out twice. Once to second and once to short. That will miss outside and high for a ball. That'll hit at the knees for strike 1. And it'll be a 2-1 count now to Joanne Nazario, playing third today for Chicopee. That's lined right over Decker's head as she ducks out of the way. They'll send the runner around. Not in time. Nice relay there by the Spartans. Great throw by the center fielder, Sabrina Gagne. And she'll hose down Raven Fournier, who tried scoring from second. So on the single by Nazario, she'll go to second on the throw home. But Spartans have 2 outs here in the 7th after a great play by Sabrina Gagne to hose down the runner at home. That pitch to Katie Setterstorm will miss high for a ball. She swung on and grounded that one softly, fielded by Pioji. She'll throw on to first. And the stretch by Lambert will get the 3rd out of this inning. So the Spartans keep the Pacers off the board. Oh, not off the board. The Pacers score 2 on the 2-run home run by Ratelli. They go up 14-5. Spartans trail by 9. They have work to do in the bottom half of the 7th. We'll be back for that.
Sports fans, stay in touch with all of East Longmeadow High School sports by following us on Twitter using our handle @LCatSports. And if you miss any of the games on TV, you can watch the game at your leisure by visiting us on YouTube and searching LCAT 01028.
All right, ready to get underway here in the home half of the seventh. Spartans down to their final 3 outs. They trail the Pacers 14-5. Spartans will have the top of the lineup in Julia Decker as she looks at ball 1 low and inside. Decker 1 for 3 today, lining out to the shortstop, flying out to the catcher, and reaching on a base hit. As she looks at strike 1, and it'll even the count at 1-1. That misses outside for ball 2-1 count now to Decker. Looks to help herself out here in the 7th inning. She grounds that one to third, played by Nazario. She'll throw on to first for the out. The Spartans get their leadoff batter out, and I'll bring up Danny White. So Spartan bench not out of it. They're making a lot of noise over there in the third base dugout. Still with life here in the 7th. They trail 14-5 as Danny White looks at ball 1 outside. That one's bowled in for a ball. 2-0 now to Danny White. White 1 for 3 today. Reaching on a base hit back in the 5th. That one's taken for a strike and will even bring the count to 2-1. White also grounded out to the shortstop and flew out to the shortstop today in her other 2 at bats as she looks at ball 3. So 3-1 count now to Danny White. Looks to give the Spartans some life. With a base runner, she looks at strike 2 and it'll be a full count. That misses, so the Spartans get a runner on here in the 7th after the walk. And that'll bring up Mackenzie Lambert, who can do some damage with the bat. Lambert 1 for 3 today. She reached on a base hit back in the 5th. That's taken low for ball 1. Lambert also grounded out to second and lined out to first. That one's lined to first, and she'll make the double play as she caught White off the bag. So Spartans unable to capitalize on the walk, and they'll drop this one to Chicopee. 14-5. Spartans will drop to 7-3, 7-4 overall, 3-2 in the Valley Wheel League, and Chicopee will go to 6-5 overall, and they will be 2-3 in the Valley Wheel League. Spartans back in action on Monday against Westfield. They'll be here at Birchland. So I hope you'll tune in for that one. We'll see you then. For Cat Sports, I'm Nick Balboin, joined along Nick Hansman on the camera. We'll see you next time.